Hello, this is Richard Willis. I am on my second day, even though it's August 3rd, of the video or vlogging every day in August for VEDA for YouTube. I'm doing this with my wife, Shay. And what I'll be doing for most of the month is going over my book, 16 Days to Marriage. I talk in depth about marriage preparation, cutting through some of the mess and some of the issues that we face, and putting ourselves in the best position to find and meet and marry the spouse that is out there for you. I believe that God has great things for you, and ultimately, it's not so much about all the stuff we do, because He's ultimately the one that guides us and leads us, but there are definitely things that we can do to walk in wisdom and make things happen, and do it in the right way. So basically, the title, 16 Days to Marriage, what it's about. Definitely not a guarantee of getting married in 16 days. It is 16 days of principles, 16 days of things that talk about understanding faith, vision, getting over past hurts, past fears, dealing with sexuality, dealing with dating, logistics, questions to ask yourself, kind of a gut check. The 16 days part, again, dealing with 16 days is the first part of that, but that originally came from the Bible. It actually came from the book of First Chronicles, chapter 28 and 29, where it deals with Hezekiah and Ahaz. And if you're familiar with the story, Ahaz was this terrible king. Yeah, and in the books of First, Second Samuel, eventually leading to Kings, First and Second Kings, and First and Second Chronicles, you have all this history. So all these kings, you have good kings, bad kings, and all this stuff. So you have these bad kings that did crazy stuff, and you have good kings that did right and set things the way they should be. So Ahaz was a bad king, did crazy stuff, serving pagan idols, and one of the worst things that he did. He's a complicated character, but one of the worst things that he did was close a temple. And the temple, for the Jewish people of that time, we're talking, a couple thousand years ago, more than a couple thousand years ago, three and a half thousand years ago, the temple was the most important building for the faith and the most important city for their faith, which is Jerusalem. So you have this temple, which is in the heart of Jerusalem. It's meant for worship. It signified God's presence among the Hebrews, among the Israelites. Sacrifices for sins were made there. All these great things were done there in relationship, or in helping to grow and demonstrate a relationship with God. It replaced the tabernacle, which was a tent that was used for a somewhat similar purpose. And those dimensions were literally given by God Himself. So you have this amazing building that was for worship, atonement for sins, a rallying point for the people. And this wicked king Ahaz closes it up, messes everything up. And in a way, it kind of cut off the Israelites' relationship with God as it pertained to the temple. A little more complicated than that, but suffice it to say, messed up. A very terrible thing to do. It's kind of like someone just going and shutting all the church doors in the country, and even not allowing people to pray and all this other crazy, terrible thing. So his son, actually, Hezekiah, is a familiar name in the Bible, actually was a good king. He lived a long life, did a lot of amazing things, and he served God. He definitely was about doing things the right way. And when he eventually gained power after his father moved on, one of the first things he did was open the temple. And keep in mind, this temple, again, most important building for Jewish faith, most important city. You don't just roll through there with a bucket and a mop and here you go. This building was ordained by God. It signifies presence. There's all these amazing things that happen there. So you're not just rolling through there quick and take care of stuff. In my opinion, my personal opinion, I feel like it's an underrated miracle in the Bible that he was able to make this thing happen so quickly. He actually was able to get the temple fit for use, not just clean, because they have these pagan idols and all sorts of stuff going on too. So get the place clean, get it cleaned out, get it fit for use with exacting standards for worship and moving things forward according to the way God wanted it. Got it done in 16 days. And I feel like that's an underrated miracle because that is ridiculous. I mean, I think of spring cleaning for my own house or, different things, trying to clean a car, do this or do that. Or even if you think of a big office building or even a big church, If it was just ransacked and crazy, for someone to come through and clean it and get it right and get it prepared for worship and do it in 16 days, it's a miracle. Not only that, he was able to rally the people to get behind him with the priests and other people to make things happen and to get supplies so that it can be done right. So it's not just clearing out the building and getting it ready, the temple, but also helping in having folks get kind of motivated, get going. And that is the motivation for the book. I feel like there are 16 days, quote unquote, worth of principles that can definitely help with relationships. Kind of get your house in order. I mean, a lot of stuff that we do, and I talk about myself too, that we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. I've got a whole chapter called, you're a winner. Now win, and I want to do things so that we can all win. So we can get off the relationship treadmill, all the foolishness, all the games, all the frustration. There's a way we can do this thing where we win, where we can get some of the things that we want, do it in a way we don't feel guilty about it, and move ahead with our family. And one thing too, the book, obviously 16 Days to Marriage, you got the nice cover, the rings and the hands and all of that. That's wonderful. Marriage is a comma. And I think one of the things that happens is sometimes we think marriage is a period. A lot of ladies, a lot of folks think, gotta do this and do that. Find a dude and get married. It's a great wedding day and da-da-da-da. That is wonderful and true, and that should happen. But that's just the start, really. It's easy to get married. And by evidence, by the fact that so many of us have all these weddings and big this and that, and you see all these TV weddings and stuff, and it doesn't work because it's a comma. That's a starting point. What is really supposed to happen is have a lifetime, a legacy of love and a family and a faith, Lord willing, children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, have a legacy. You look back so that when you look back, you're old and gray, and you wow, you had this great journey with your spouse. If there are children, you see their children, you see life move forward. There's so much more to it than just getting to marriage. So I definitely want to make that clear. It's not so much about that, but we got to do something to cut through it, because even just getting to that point, even just dating, even just having hope is rough sometimes. So definitely going to press ahead, talk about a few things, have some discussions with folks. This is my second video. What time is it? About 10:48. So I'm doing better. Yesterday's video, I did it at 11:59. This one's a little earlier, so the next video will actually be during the day. So I actually have a day video. Like I said, I'll be doing a few more things over the month. It'll also be getting a little more polished during the month too. We're starting kind of informal. Also, the videos won't necessarily be as long as this one. Some will be real short. Some will be maybe a little bit longer, especially when I'm talking with other folks and having some discussions about things. So again, this is Richard Willis. This is my book, 16 Days to Marriage. Talk a lot about marriage preparation, cutting through the mess, cutting through the frustration, practical principles and insights to help you on your way. I pray that God bless you, and wherever you are in the relationship journey, in your relationship journey, I pray that from this point forward, it really moves forward in a wonderful way, in a purposeful way, in a solid way, in a thorough way, in a way that you're happy with, and that will lead to good results. So again, this is Richard Willis. Take care.